Ooh, love you.
Love you more. You have a good show.
Thank
Pick
you.
up that side.
Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. Good to see you all. God, that started so impromptu. How are you guys doing? Welcome to the live. Yet another day. Good to see you all. Wow. Today is on Tuesday. The week is moving real quick. How is the last day of March? Wow, today is the last day of March. How are you guys doing? The last day of March. Wow, 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 wow. Welcome to the live, you guys. Welcome to the live. If you're watching later on after the video is already streamed, thank you so much for always tuning in. Thank you for giving me a chance. Literally, I really appreciate you all for being part of my YouTube journey. Yes. So I appreciate you all. Welcome to the live. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how is your week going. Today is on Tuesday. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching me from. My name is Wamboy. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Okay, it's a question that we are asking ourselves, and I know most of us, directly or indirectly, we've been at a place where like I really need to work hard. I really need to keep going. Uh, or we have been told to keep going. Is this something that we are told to just keep going with no substance, or does it really work out? Diamas says like the live share the love sub the queen. Hujambo from Kenya. Welcome to the live, Diamas. How are you doing? Good to see you. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you're watching me from. My name is Wamboy. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know how you're doing. How is your week going? And also, how is the last day of March going for you? Today is the last day of March, 31st. Well, I always say like whenever it gets to April, the year really flies by. Like literally after that is just we just keep going. Okay, the last day of April. Today is the last day of April. Let me know how was March for you, and like what were you able to achieve, or and also what are you setting, what are you focusing on for the month of April? Okay, Diana says, hey one boy, I'm doing great, thank you. How are you? I'm doing great, thank you. Welcome to the live. How have March been for you? Today is the last day of March. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching me from. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wow, I actually didn't realize that today is the last day of March, which is really full circle moment when you think about it. Like the year just started and we're already in April. What? We are already in April. By the end of today, we're gonna be in April. Okay, so you guys, today we're gonna be talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Okay, we have all been told at some point like work hard, keep going, it's gonna work out. But does it really work out? Like, does it work like that? Okay. So guys, when you join in, like the live, share the love, subscribe. My name says, oh, hello. Hello, what perversions are we discussing today? Today we are not talking about perversions. Today we are talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Okay. So we are not talking about perversions today. At least today we are kind of rephrasing or like reshifting the energies. But welcome to the live. Let me know how you're doing. Have you ever been told work hard, keep going? Have you ever been told that, or like have you told yourself that just so that you don't quit? Okay, and did it work out for you? So that's what we're asking ourselves today. But in the meantime, guys, if you're wondering, or if this is your first time seeing me, my name is Wamboy. Thank you so much for tuning in. So you know what, I kind of need some personality. I rarely like apply makeup, but maybe I need a personality. Ah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Welcome to the live. I kind of need I know it's irregular. Ooh. Okay, so okay. Okay, now that's good. No, that's good. Okay, we are talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Okay, let's be honest. We've all been told work hard, you'll succeed. Especially, I think it starts in schools. Okay, when I was going to school, like every day, like actually at some point, my mother was telling me to work so hard, to read so hard, like I was just being motivated to like read, to like go to school, because that's the only way that I was gonna make it. Like work hard in school. We all had that in school, okay. But what happens when you work hard and nothing changes? When you put your all into things and nothing changes. So what happens when you do that? Like you're being told work hard, wake up every day, put your all into something. But what happens when you put your all into something and it never works out? What happens? Um Them says, I feel like I'm your mirror. Mirror on the wall. Mirror on the wall. Is there first there? Okay, you're my queen. Okay, you are my mirror. You are my mirror. Okay. I do believe that there are people who are doing everything. There are people who are putting themselves out there. There are people who are more hardworking than even you and I. Okay, and they are not anywhere near where you are. Okay, like I can take myself as an example. I have done so with this. I think I've been through so much that even the people who make it in life, does it mean does money choose or does success choose where it goes? Does it have favorites? Does success have favorites? Because if it's working hard, I have worked hard, okay? God knows I've worked hard. God knows like every moment of my life has always been like putting in the work, chasing things. But like do these things not choose me or what happens? Okay, so I do have a question. Do you believe success is luck or is it earned? Do you believe success is luck or earned? Okay, because I do there are people who don't even like who, okay, I am not here to say like who works hard and who doesn't, but there are some people whenever they touch anything, it just flourishes. And somebody might say, for example, for people who grew up in the farm, some people just they plant and they don't put their all in it, like they don't even work hard to do it. It's just like they just plant and they flourish. They keep going, like their things flourish, they plant things and those things multiply. So do you believe success is luck or earned? Okay, do you believe success is luck or earned? Do you believe success is luck or earned? um okay, do you believe success is luck or earned? uh if I was to answer the question, do you believe success is luck or earned? I think both. I think both. Or luck does contribute to like people making it in life. You can work as hard as you want, but like if you're competing with somebody who have luck, they're gonna make it. Okay. Then says first, I have to say, if you do not work hard, you are guaranteed to fail. However, hard work is not a guarantee. Someone is knowing someone is, while knowing someone isn't a guarantee, it helps more than work. Okay, who do you know? God, that's literally the question. Who do you know? It doesn't matter what can you do, it matters who do you know. In this world, in this economy, you just need to know somebody. You don't even need to work hard. You need to have the right people. You need to have the destiny help us, destiny connect us, and you're gonna get there. So I think the question is, who do you know? Okay, and as Diama says, like if you do not work hard, you're guaranteed to fail. However, hard work is not a guarantee. Knowing someone is, and that's literally the point right there. That's literally the point right there. Lucy the Jolly says, "Hello, my friend. Hello to you. How are you doing? Welcome to the live. When you join in, guys, let me know where you're watching me from. Like, subscribe, say hi to me. Okay." I do believe like you do have to have direction. Okay, most of us, we worked hard in every area, like, but we didn't have a focus. We didn't have something that we are literally putting all our efforts in. So let's say you're in school working hard, but you don't know what you want to focus on. There are people, uh, so you don't remember me. I do remember you. I do remember you. Okay, welcome back. I remember you. I remember you. Okay. Uh, I do believe hard work without direction is exhaustion. Like, um, you have to have you kind of like have to keep restructuring along the way. You have to keep restructuring or like, is it called rerouting? You do have to keep rerouting because you realize sometimes you might be good in this, but then like you don't know anybody in this field, so you might decide to reroute to this field where you know one or two people. Okay, and that's not having direction or like having a focus. It's just like you are rerouting to where you're likely to succeed, or like where you are likely to to make it happen, to get it to get to the finish point. Okay. um So I think I do believe we've been told one thing, like work hard, you'll succeed, but nobody talks about what happens when you actually do that and nothing changes. Okay. uh Lucy the Jolly says you should work hard with a good direction to follow. Okay. Okay, because I do think like if you work hard in any direction, it doesn't work. Okay, you work hard in any direction with no focus, it's not gonna work out. You have to know where are you going, because at the end of the day, you will get to the finish point of whatever you're working hard on, and that's when you realize like, was it worth it? Okay, but some of us, we do have degrees that we will never use because we just worked hard without thinking, or like we got into a field without thinking, who do you know in this field, like where can you get connected? Okay, we just kept working hard. Okay, and then we got to the finish point and it's like, where can I go with this? Okay. Diamond says, as to earned or luck, you can earn it without luck, but you cannot get lucky without earning it. In short, if you're not trying, you can't even luck up on success. Okay, I know. Like, to be honest, have you ever given something your all, your time, your energy, your consistency, and still you don't get the results that you expected? Okay, for me, if you were to ask me the same question, I would say yes. Okay, I have given things my all, and then I get to the finish point and I'm like, wow, why did I lose all that sleep? Why did I like why, like, I get to the finish point and I'm like, this is not working out, like this is not it. Okay. um so that's exactly what we are talking about tonight, and like, I just want us to focus on what can we do. For some of us, we just work hard. What can we do to make sure that our hard work doesn't go to waste? Like, what can we do to make sure that like, uh we get there, even if it doesn't, even if it means, mhm. So what can we do to get there, even if it means, oh my god, I'm having a headache. Ugh. Okay, anyways, I was saying, what can we do, even if we are hard workers, what can we do to make sure like we are not just working hard for anything, we are not working hard with no direction, we are not working hard for something that will never happen. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I think, sometimes you are working hard and then you compare yourself to people who are not even trying and they are up there making it. I do believe that the background that you come from, it actually determines like where are you working hard headed to. Okay, because for some people it's like you're starting from scratch, but for others it's like, ooh, it is what it is. Okay. uh wow, my head is really aching. Okay, let me take some water. My head is really aching. Wow. Advance happy April Fool's Day. Wow, tomorrow is Fool's Day. Good to know. Sometimes you'll just have a weird headache, like out of nowhere. Okay, so I think when it comes to working hard, there are things that people don't talk about, and it's just important we talk about. Okay, nobody talks about like opportunities are available depending on who you know. You know, it doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter all those things. It just matters like who do you know. Okay, so opportunities are available depending on who do you know. Like sometimes you're not even a specialist on something, but you just get the job, you just get it. Okay, you don't like, you have an uncle who works somewhere, he knows somebody who knows somebody, and you just get connected, or like you just get connected, and that's how you find the jobs. So I think even when it comes to like choosing careers, you should focus on who do you know, because today's world, I think back in the day you could get jobs without knowing anyone, but right now you can get jobs without knowing anyone, but it's like cleaning jobs, all these jobs that are not really worth it. But for the quality ones, then the people who get the job, they are people who know people, you know. Okay, also sometimes you work hard, but like you are at the right place, wrong timing. Okay, something, you might have an idea and then you put all your work on it. This idea is not a bad one, but like is not good. It's not good for the moment, but like if you do it like some time from now, or if you did it like some years back, it would have been great. Okay, Diamond says, I once heard someone say, I came to the country with nothing except the clothes on my back, a dream, and less than $1 million, and I built this company from scratch. Wow. Okay, I was expecting to hear, I came to this country with nothing, clothes on my back, a dream, and $2. That's what I expected. Wow, we're talking about $1 million. Like you can become anything with $1 million. Okay, less than $1 million. Less than okay, you know what, as fast is not $10. Like I believe you have somewhere to start. Okay, I do believe you have somewhere to start. Okay, you know what, I think your background matters more than the hard work. You can tell your children to work hard as much as they want, but it depends who do you know as the parent. What connections do you have as the parent, you know. uh, so, and then also the other thing that matters, in like if you make it after you work hard, is exposure. For some people it's like you grew up being exposed to like financial literacy, starting business, you're not afraid of risks. So such things put you forward, even if hard work doesn't like put you up there. Having the exposure does. Okay, so you are not the same. Like if you grew up with a family where people are afraid, they are not risk takers, and they didn't do what they wanted, you know, you cannot be the same. Okay. um Also, another thing is luck. People hate when you talk about luck. People hate when you say like, oh, some people are lucky, some people aren't. But the truth is, some people are lucky and some people aren't. Like some people make it and like they are laughing at people. It's like, and you don't decide, you don't even need to be laughing, because actually you didn't work hard. You just got there by luck. Okay, does it help? It kind of does. It helps that you got there by luck. Okay, so guys, we are asking a hard question today. Hard work, what's the thing? Hard work doesn't guarantee success, so what does? Okay, in your opinion, what guarantees success? I would like to know you guys' opinion. In your opinion, what guarantees success? Okay, hard work doesn't guarantee success, so what does? Okay, because if you're talking about hard work, I can tell you right now, like you and I, everybody who is watching this, you've worked hard at some point in your life, or like maybe most of your life, but have you gotten there? Have you been able to get up there where you want to be? No. Okay, then I say sympathize on your headache. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so what does, okay, according to your opinion, what guarantees success? Or according to your thoughts, what guarantees success? Is it the background? Is it the parents? Is it what guarantees success? Because hard work doesn't. Okay, you can work as hard as you want. You can even work as hard as sweating like 24 hours a day. Like that won't guarantee success. It will not, unfortunately. Okay. I kept saying, like, why don't they look at everybody who works hard and just like, this money is man-made. Okay, why can they just, like, and I know that sounds dumb, especially for my financial people, like for people in the financial sector. Like, if money is man-made, why did we make money? What's the purpose of money? Like, if money is man-made, why can't we just print money and, like, everyone can be able to buy anything? Okay. This isn't a guarantee, but it could increase your odds. Originality. Be the first to come up with a new idea. Netflix started out as being the first company to mail movies directly to your home. Okay, and see where they are right now. Okay, wow. So maybe that's a thing. Originality. And you know what? And that's why I was talking about. That's why I was talking about being a risk taker. You can. An ordinary person cannot just do that. I know they did have the support. I know they knew people. Like, I know that, like, even coming up with that you have to have money to come up with things like that. Okay, but you know what? That one, originality, something different. Come up with something different, or like, you can even do the same thing that people are doing, but like do it on your own way. Like, don't copy, because the moment you're copying, you're giving people what there is out there. Okay, so wow. Okay, originality. Okay. Uh, Wow. Can you imagine, like, so when Netflix started, was it small? Because of course Netflix came to African countries when it was already up there. Diana says, good point, because I guarantee the owner of Netflix started out with millions. I know. Sometimes even in this content creation, or like doing stuff like this, you'll see somebody is starting and they're saying this is humble beginning. They already have microphones. They already have a studio. They already have almost everything that they need, and it's like, you're starting with nothing, you're building with nothing, with no tools, with nothing. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you work hard, yours will not be aesthetically pleasing as theirs. So of course they are gonna get it, like, um, they are the one who are gonna get it at the end of the day. So I think it doesn't matter how hard you work and stuff, like, the finances, the money to start something, it matters. Because before they could mail movies to people, they had to pay for the rights to distribute thousands of different movies. Okay, wow. And also, not to mention, like, even them being able to, like, shoot the type of movies. There are movies that you'll see. I know they have movies from other producers, but also they do have movies that they do produce themselves. Okay, that is not done by some dude down the way. You have to have money to do that type of stuff. Okay, guys, welcome to the live. My name is Omboy. We are talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Okay, at some point you've worked hard. Have you ever felt like you're working hard and, like, it's like you're not getting the breakthrough that you're looking for? You're not getting there. Things are not working out. Okay, so have you ever felt that way? Diamond says, like the live, share the love, sub the queen. Uh-huh. Okay, what else? Yeah, so the other thing that I was saying, for example, even with this, something that I've realized in this entertainment industry, it doesn't, like, you can even start with everything that you have, but at some point you need to know somebody. Let me tell you this time, like, if I go to somebody who is popular, and, like, they shout me out on their channel, I am more likely to make it. You kind of need to know somebody. The Haibina says, hi, how are you doing? Welcome to the live. Where are you watching me from? We're talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Um, Greetings from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Wow, Malaysia in the building. Welcome to the live. How are you doing? Do you believe hard work guarantees success? Okay. Oh my God, Malaysia. I know Malaysia, there's a lot of luxuries in Malaysia. Asia, Malaysia. Okay, welcome to the live. Feel free to feel free in the building. Okay, we are talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Okay, so we've talked about opportunities. It depends with who do you know. Also timing, you can be at the right place, wrong timing. Exposure, like have you been exposed to risk taking? Okay, are you the first one in your family to take risks? So that's also something that can contribute to you if you succeed or not. And another one is luck. Okay, um so I do believe if you work hard, you at least have the ticket to succeed, okay? But it's not a guarantee, okay? It's just an entry ticket, okay? Like you can buy a ticket and like you're guaranteed like you're gonna get in the building, you are gonna get into the building, but does it guarantee that you're going to shake hands with the what are they called? With the actors? It doesn't. It guarantees you that you're gonna be in the building, but it doesn't guarantee that you're gonna see them face to face. So hard work doesn't guarantee success, and that's just the hard work. The hard part. Hard work is just the entry ticket to success. Okay, and that was a hard one for me to learn because I've always worked hard in school because I was told if I work hard I'm gonna graduate, and also I was brought up with the mindset of like being employed. So for me it was like I go to school, I work hard, I go through the system, go to university, and I did graduate, and then I'm gonna be employed. So what happens when I get to the finish line and that doesn't happen? Okay, I get discouraged. The Hey Bina says, I do agree with all your thoughts. Okay. The Hey Bina says, tricky thing is to find out when to take a risk. Yeah, and how to take a risk, because you might be willing to take the risk, but do you have the finances to play those type of games? Because when you realize like rich people, they play with money, like not like the type of games that you're thinking about. They use this money, they put it in another place trying to see if that can take off. You know, they don't put all their eggs in one basket. And being able to do that, like for example, for you, maybe you're talking about $100. That's what you want to play with, those type of games. Like even if you decide and put them in different baskets, $20 here, $20 there, $15, you know, it doesn't work like that. Dama says, my brother was a risk taker. He attempted opening a restaurant on three separate occasions. Each one of them failed, but it was not because he did not put in the effort. He busted his butt. Okay, but you see, that is somebody who is a risk taker, and also he's a hard worker. So what guarantees success? Okay, what guarantees success, guys? Have you ever worked hard? Because me personally, I have been there. Like I have worked. Let me tell you, I was a bookworm in school. Like every day I studied blah blah blah, and of course I'm a graduate right now. But I got to the other side, I got to the end of what I was doing, and then I'm like, God. So it doesn't end there. Like, my life doesn't automatically get better just because I'm a graduate. Now you're telling me I have to put more work, I have to, like, tarmac. That's what you're telling me right now? You know, that was such a surprising thing. Guys, welcome to the live. My name is Wamboy. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? So that's a question that I'm asking you. Godson, and welcome to the live. Thank you for coming back to the channel. Thank you so much, you guys. Diamond says to Hebina on when to take the risk. Okay, too important. Like, when do you take the risk? When do you take the risk and start that business? When do you take the risk and learn a different skill? Okay, you know what, guys, and I'm gonna tell you this one for sure. Something that I've realized recently. Okay, you know, those papers that you do have, that degree, it can keep you away from success. Okay, because most of us who do have degrees or like diplomas, you don't want to do the dirty work. You want to sit there and be like, you know, I'm a graduate, I am not really, like, you don't want to be out there being seen that you're trying. You don't want to be out there doing the dirty work. You want to be out, you want to be in an office rolling around in a chair. Okay, you want to be operating in computers. Those are the type of jobs that you need. But I realized very quickly after graduating that, like, you have to get your hands dirty. You have to be willing to do the dirty work. You have to learn other skills. That degree might be what is keeping you from making it in this life, okay? Um, Good Godson N says, "Hi Bina, are you going long time no see? Are you going no, long time no see?" Okay, Diamond says to Hevina, he wasn't expanding. First, it was a soul food restaurant. A few years later, he tried a burger joint, and later it was Italian. Wow, Italian! That man is a risk taker. Okay, I just wish he succeeded in all of that because wow, especially a restaurant like my friend and I, she started a restaurant with one of her friends, and like I was helping, and I can tell you for sure, it was like a cafe or like something small. It wasn't that big. We were not cooking a lot of things, but I can tell you for sure, it was time consuming. At the end of the day, you felt so tired, you felt so exhausted. At the end of the day, sometimes you were counting losses. Sometimes people didn't eat the food. Sometimes the chef, the person who was cooking, cooked bad chapatis and people couldn't buy. Like, God. The happiness says God's at end. Yeah, I'm good. Busy though, but after Easter, I can finish the 3 years project. Okay? Wow. Okay, so you guys know each other. Diamonds, I have no idea about restaurant. Difficult business. You know, let me tell you, restaurant, they are really tricky to run. Like, first of all, even if I was to start a business today, I would never start in food industry. I can't start with like fruits. For fruits, I can take a risk with fruits. But when it comes to like cooking, no, no, no. Even if you have a refrigerator, at the end of the day, like you want to be selling this food fresh. I think that's a business that can really be paying, but like it's a really risky one to start. Um, Diamond says yes, very difficult, very tricky, and you have to bring in regular business quickly. But that was his dream. Okay, and you know that's the thing. Before you set up the restaurant, the clients that you are the people that you're targeting, they were already eating. Okay, so it's not like they were starving before you started your business. They were already eating, so you have to give them a reason to come to your place. Maybe lower prices, maybe cleanliness. Like you're not just going to get flooded. You have, especially with the restaurants, I think you have to like wait for 3 months before it takes off. Okay, Jenge Razo says, "Hi, beautiful." Hi to you, Jenge. We are talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Let me know in your opinion what guarantees success. Okay, and give us your scenarios. Let us know. The Heaviness says, "I took the risk to work abroad when no one wanted to. It turned out good for me, but it wasn't easy." Okay. Oh, let me know how was that like for you? Like I can only imagine how that was like for you. So, how was that like for you when you moved from one country to another to start something from scratch? Did you know somebody where you are moving to? The Hebner says, Diamonds hope he doesn't have debt now. I know he might be paying debts from all of that, you know, and also shutting down a business is not like, it's not easy. I have never started my own business, so, but I have worked with people who've started their own business, and I can tell you for sure it's not easy. Guys, we're talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Okay, hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Okay, and I think if you would have asked me if hard work guarantees success 3 years ago when I was still in university, I would tell you it does, because my life have just been living proof that like work hard, work hard. But it was only rewarding me academically. All the success that I was having, all the rewards that I was having, they were academic. Me personally, if you ask me in school, does hard work guarantee success? I would tell you yes, for sure. Because I've always worked hard in my academics. But I am just wondering, like, oh, the hardest part for me when I got out here is like, how do I translate that into real life? You know, I've always been successful with books. How do I translate that into real life? Like, how do I use that in real life? Okay? Diana says they have no thanks. But yeah, no debt. He only operated with family money. We don't collect debt on each other. Wow. Okay, maybe you guys have debt. Okay, we don't collect debts from each other. Wow. Okay, but you know what? You know that's the type. People like your brother Diamas. If he meets somebody who have the luck, let's say the wife have the luck, and he's the risk taker, and the wife runs the business, and she has the luck. I think that's where it balances out. Okay, because he could be a risk taker, but he doesn't have the luck. He could be a hard worker, but he doesn't have the luck. So I think that's where the wife comes in, like the luck. Okay, or was he running it by himself? Was it not his family business? The Hebner says, I looked for a job abroad first and made a first contract first. Then moved to that country, started working, and also looked for the next job elsewhere. Wow, wow. God, I can only imagine how that is like. You know, looking for a job in your own country can be difficult. How about looking? But how are you able to do that? Maybe you had some people, but like, I'm just curious. I'm just curious. How are you able to look for a job in a country that you don't live in? Uh, then it says good family, but he should learn from his failures. Okay, guys, welcome to the live. Have you ever worked so hard? Have you ever put your all into something but you never make it? Maybe have you ever gone to school or like been told in school work hard so that you can succeed? Did that transition immediately after you got out of school? Did you succeed immediately? And if not, how was that like for you? Okay, wow, because wow, I always fantasize, oh, I have always fantasized. First of all, I am a German student right now, and I am always getting there. I've always fantasized about like moving to some place like Germany or stuff like that. But it's like, how do you move there? Okay, the only easy way to move there is through studies. But like, you are aware you're such a risk taker. That's risk taking. Diamond says you are right on target, one boy. Although his wife didn't have the luck, she had the job. So while he tried to start the business, his wife handled the bills. Wow, what a family! What a family! Okay, guys. I can only imagine if they started the restaurant, both of them, and like now nobody can pay the bills, and maybe now you have to chip in as the brother to pay the bills. Wow. Okay, surprising. Guys, welcome to the live. We're talking about hard work and success. Do we have those two things in the same sentence? Because at this point, especially with most of us being graduates and never working in the fields that we studied on, most of us being graduates sitting at home with our papers. So, does hard work equal success? In your opinion, does hard work equal success? The Heaven says internet helps a lot with looking for a job abroad. No, I didn't always succeed. I worked in sewers just to survive, but only for a short time. Okay, before you knew people. God, what a story. You're such a risk taker, and like I gotta give you your flowers on that one. Like, can you imagine moving to a new place just blind? God, I would never get paid to do that. Like, I cannot get paid to do that. Because my thing is like, when you get there, where are you gonna stay? And maybe you're moving there with not any type of money, you know. Having to Diamonds. Wow, what a good wife. Okay, what a good wife. Vicky, welcome to the building. Welcome to the building. How are you? Diamond says, the Hebner, one should learn from their failures, but not let those failures defeat you. While he did have 3 failures, I believe each failure was not just knowing what people wanted. Oh, okay. He didn't know what people wanted. Okay. Vicky says, hi everyone. Hi to you, Vicky. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. We are talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Or do you believe success guarantees do you believe hard work guarantees success in your opinion? Okay. Do you believe hard work guarantees success? Because I think like so far we've seen people who are up there on top of the game. They are not hard workers. They are people, maybe it's luck, maybe it's the background, maybe you have parents who have already made it, they're up there doing their thing. So I'm just asking a hard question. What guarantees success? Because I really want to know. Okay. Heaviness says, hey Vicky. So also there's another thing, comparison trap. Okay, most of us who graduated around the same time, or let's start with like even elementary school. When you go to primary school or elementary school, as American would call it, at the end of the day, you guys separate, go on different paths. Some people join high school, some people don't. And then after that, some people join colleges, some people join universities. Everybody goes everywhere. But you realize there's somebody who you will have the same path from A to Z, but they get there before you. Okay? It's like you're working hard, but they're doing better than you, and you're like, what's going on here? Okay? So you're working hard, but someone else is moving faster. Especially now with social media, it makes it worse. You know, I've seen people who are 20 years old. Somebody is driving a Lamborghini. Somebody is but these are all online stuff. Okay, someone is 20-year-old. They have all these things going on. They already have a home, a permanent home, and you are like, God, what am I doing with my life? Okay, and I think actually personally, I'm a victim of the same. Even when it comes to like me doing this YouTube stuff, like sometimes I'm like, oh, am I fumbling? Am I not doing it right? But what I have to realize, like, I'm starting from scratch. Nobody knows who I am. Nobody knows who I am. I'm starting from scratch. So you can compare with people who are already like in TV shows, people who are already doing movies. Diamond says, the heaven, I find the whole working abroad is scary. Being in a foreign land and having problems, should problems arise, would be difficult. I know that would be, and that would be just be my dream. So that I can move, I can go to another place to work. I really have to know that I know. Like, I am not trying to go there to be homeless. Like, I really have to know that I know. The heaven says, you can train yourself to take a calculated risk. Try something that feels risky for you that doesn't involve money. Oh, okay. I think I'm good at that one right now, because I sat for a minute and I was not doing anything, and then I just decided, you know what, let me just, right now I'm doing a couple of stuff. I'm doing YouTube, and also I'm learning cosmetology. I'm learning how to braid hair and stuff like that. So that is a risk that if I learn, well and good. If I don't, like, then it is what it is. Diamond says, like the live, share the love, sub the Queen Hujambo from Kenya. Welcome to the building, you guys. Let me know how you're doing. And there is a question right here that I want to ask. What matters more? What matters more, hard work or connection, in your opinion? What matters more, hard work or connection? What matters more, hard work or connection? Diamonds, heaviness to diamonds. Yes, most people it is, but I had no connections back home, so I had nothing to lose. Wow. Okay, yeah, because you gotta calculate what you have to lose. What do you have to lose? If you move there and it doesn't work out, then what are you losing? Did you already have something going on? No. Okay, guys, welcome to the live. When you join in, please say hi. Let me know where you're watching me from. Kindly like, subscribe. Wow. Diamond says, now at 20, no, nowadays, at 20 something in a Lamborghini is probably living off daddy's money. You're just being jealous. You're just being jealous. However, 20 or so years ago, during the dot-com baby boomers, 20-year-old millionaires were common, but built on luck. Okay? You're just being jealous. Diamond says, what matters more, hard work or success? So that's the question. According to your opinion, what matters more, hard work or success? What will get you there, hard work or success? The heaviness says diamonds, connections. My name says connections. Vicky says, no, hard work guarantees a shorter life expectancy. A place for you in paradise, quote unquote paradise. No, hard work guarantees a shorter life expectancy. Oh my God. Can you elaborate? I've never looked at it that way. Like, can you elaborate for us? Vicky says, hard work guarantees a shorter life expectancy. A place for you in quote unquote paradise. Can you elaborate for us? I've never looked at it like that. We have a question on the screen. What matters more, hard work or success? The Hebner says, I meant family or friends. Okay. The evidence is never compare yourself with others. It will make you sad every time. That's, and you know what? That's a huge one for me, because right now I stopped looking at WhatsApp status from people. I used to be somebody who is always there, like checking on my mates. How are they doing? Looking at their statuses. What are they posting? Let me tell you, and I'm not even pretending, and I don't do it on purpose. I don't even have time to check on that, like right now. After, so I normally have the show for 2 hours at night. After the show, I am on my hair doing thing, like I'm learning how to do hair. During the day, I'm always at the salon. I don't have time to check on what people are doing. During the day, if I'm not going to the salon, during the day I'm here preparing for the live, or like writing down points that I might discuss for my future shows. Sometimes I'm even drafting videos and stuff. So I think I have been somebody who compares myself, or like who looks at like, oh God, people that I was doing school with, they have jobs, they are married, they have children. And just to understand that like everybody is on their own path, and like it is what it is at the end of the day. Like even twins, they're not similar. Diamond says, I agree with connections. While hard work takes away the guaranteed failure, connections gives you 99% chance of success. Okay? 99% chance of success. Okay, guys, let me tell you, I think right now, because we are adults, if you're looking forward to like having children, make sure you work hard. Because stop saying that like you want your children to succeed and you're not working hard. Let me tell you, you're gonna be the foundation and you're gonna be the determinant if your children fail to succeed. You'll see people who are just dumb, like by themselves. They wouldn't have become anything without the help of their parents. But because their parents, they were hardworking, they were successful. These children become successful and they become people in this life. People are willing to give them chances because they have something. They have something that they are coming. So I would literally say it depends. The background that you come from, it really matters. The Haver says, believe me, if you see people with stuff, they paid the price. Now, some of them didn't. Some of them just came from money. Guys, do you believe what Hebina is saying? I don't know if I should pin it. Let me pin your comment. He says, believe me, if you see people with stuff, they paid the price. Do you believe? I think most people didn't. I think most people just okay, some did pay the price, and maybe some is their grandfathers, great grandfathers who paid the price and set the tone for the entire generation. But for some people, they didn't. Some of us, we grew up digging the land. We grew up out there like eating soil and stuff like that. Like we grew up working hard. We grew up like working under the sun, even when the sun is scorching, burning. We grew up, it was raining outside and we are out there planting. Some of us grew up like that. But does that guarantee success? Does that put us out there? It doesn't. Vicky says smart work guarantees an unfair success over other if it is done the right way. Smart work guarantees an unfair success over others if it's done the right way. Okay, so I see where you're coming from. Like hard work doesn't guarantee success, but working smart kind of like puts you out there. Okay, I see that. Guys, welcome to the live. My name is Wamboy. Good to see you all. We're talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Dema says, what price? Okay, that's Billy. So I have something pinned. Hey Bina says, believe me, if you see people with stuff, they paid the price. And Dimas is asking, what price did they pay? Most of these people, we are just lucky. The Hebna says, seems like you guys have a different approach on connections. I'm not talking about unfair family connections or corruption. No, and we're not talking about that. We're not talking about the unfair family connections or corruption. We are talking about knowing somebody who knows somebody. You are qualified. You know, for example, I'm qualified for so many different things. Am I able to work in those fields that I want to? No, because I don't know people who can put me there, or who can talk to somebody who knows somebody and give me a chance. Diamond says to Hebner, yes, I'm talking about people you know, family, friends, etc. What other connections are you speaking? Vicky says, look, there are many sides to what you are saying. Remember that children become a version of their parents, right? yeah, they become children become a version of their parents. Okay, but you know what I'm asking you, Vicky? Like, do you believe that when you see people with stuff, they pay the price? Do you think that everybody? Because if it was like people having stuff, I should have all the stuff because I think I have paid the price with my body, soul, spirit, everything. Okay, and this is very common, especially when you're coming from nothing or like you're trying to build from nothing. Diamond says to the heaven, okay, I get that integrity matters. Okay, and also you guys, something that I wanted to mention, like I keep seeing people look at people from like African countries, especially people who come from a really bad situation. I talk about my situation as bad, but like mine is not bad. Okay, there are people who come from deserts, drought, and stuff like that. And you see people who come from like countries that are doing well, like countries that you are more likely to succeed, to get a job, to get all these opportunities. You see people from these countries laughing and like assuming that these people are just lazy. Let me tell you, if roles were reversed and you were born in some of the environments that we are born into, you wouldn't be even half the person that you are. You would be a totally different human being. So I do believe where you're born, the country you're born, the area you're born, the people you're born to, that determines if you ever make it or not. It shapes your mindset. It shapes who you are. It shapes how you see life. Okay, so it shapes all those things. Says the heaven says, okay, wow. Diamonds to the heaven. Okay, I get that. Integrity matters. Heaven says diamonds connections in the field you're working in doesn't work with all professions though. And I know. And you know what? Oh God, this thing is disconnecting. You just need to know somebody. You need to know somebody who knows somebody, and that somebody knows somebody from your field. And that's just all you need to succeed. That's just all you need to succeed. You don't need to know somebody directly. You need to know somebody who knows somebody. Okay, guys, welcome to the live. We are talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? My name is Omboy. I was born and raised in Kenya. Let me know what is your opinion when it comes to this matter. Kindly like, subscribe. I would really appreciate that. Say hi. Let me know where you're watching me from. Okay, one boy reading up for the webinar. They talking about the price of one's morality. Oh, okay. Okay. Diamonds, the price of immorality, for instance, having debt for many years, losing focus on life. That one I know for sure. I know for sure because especially I have seen people who have slept their way to the top. Like you sleep with the manager, you sleep with somebody and then it just connects you and like you get there. So they say it doesn't matter how you get there, like the end justifies the means. Do you guys believe in that? Like the end justifies the means. It doesn't matter if you sleep your way to the top. It doesn't matter if you do robbery with violence. It doesn't matter if you take lives. The end justifies the means. Okay, wow. So that's what you said. Immorality. I know. Sometimes you'll admire things that people have, but some of these people, like, they live with guilt. They did stuff that like they had to do. They had to do what they had to do. Especially, I know people who come from poverty literally dislike poverty, like hate poverty, like they are literally willing to do anything to get out of it. And I don't blame them because I'm literally the same. I can literally do not literally anything, but I am willing to do anything under this sun to make sure that I live a better life than the one that I grew up in. So I can see that, okay? You know, when it comes to success, immorality is on the table, integrity is on the table, all these are on the table, but it just it depends. Travomaya says, hi to you, Travomaya. What do you think about the topic that we are talking about? Hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Wow. Diamond says to the having a name a field in which it doesn't work. A favor is a favor in any field. And versus a favor in any field. You know, at the end of the day, you know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I slept with somebody to get the job. it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we all get paid the same amount. So it doesn't matter, because there are some people who usually say, I'm gonna sleep my way to the top because I'm literally sleeping with people anyway. So I'm gonna sleep my way to the top because, okay, that's why you see, like, for example, in the entertainment industry, we have had stories of like producers sleeping with the artist, and that's how you get your music produced. Okay, is it a good way? No. Is it sustainable? No. But does it give you a chance? Yes. So will you take it? It's your call, not mine. Okay, like the live, share the love, sub the queen Hujambo from Kenya. Welcome to the live. My name is Wambo. We are talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Vicky says, if your children grow up seeing you doing hard work all the time, well, you be sure that 90% of their instinct will prefer hard work over smart one. Do you agree? I agree with that. I agree with that for sure, 100%. Like, you, for example, me personally, I grew up, guys, have you ever worked a farm? Have you ever worked under the sun? That's what I grew up seeing. And like, I've always had the mentality that I have to work hard. Like, I have to toil. Okay, and that's it. I do agree with you, Vicky. Okay, the heaviness die was true, but I can only speak for some professions that I was in. I don't want to spread false information. Okay, Shavomaya says hi, and X World says Wamboy, hello to you. Good to see you. Welcome to the live. How are you doing? What do you think about the topic that we are talking about? We are talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? What guarantees success in your opinion? Because first of all, like somebody like me, I'm a graduate. Have I made it in the field of my study? No, not yet. Do I think I'll make it? I don't know for sure if I'll make it, okay? What is at stake? My integrity? I can sleep around and get there, okay? I can do a lot of things and get there. Do I want to do those things? No, okay? Diamond says to Vicky, I semi-agree. Many, especially those raised with good values, tend to mimic their parents. However, often you see children refusing to suffer as their parents did in a company job. Okay, there's that. I think most of us who come from poverty, we are gonna agree, like, you're not trying to be your parents. That's one thing that I know for sure, because you're not trying to be your parents if you grew up suffering. But if whatever your parents did and it was paying off, it doesn't matter if they worked hard or not, you're gonna mimic that. Mercy Everything says, blessings to everyone. Welcome to the live. Good to see you. When you join in, say hi. Let me know where you're watching me from. My name is Omboy. The heaviness says, Vicky, I do agree, especially if parents don't know better. If your parents knows about running a business, you also learn how to run a business without a school. I know, because most of the time you're gonna be in that business anyways. Most of the time you're gonna be there selling. So at the end of the day, you're gonna know how to run a business. Okay, where I'm going at, like where I'm learning, I'm doing things to do with cosmetics right now, and I'm actually learning. Okay, so what's my point? Literally, she has daughters. Okay, those they are definitely gonna learn how to do that. That's automatic. That's a birthright to them. So they are never gonna go to any school to learn that. They are gonna learn that at home, and that's what we are talking about. When you come from something, you literally become that. For some of us, if you are coming from like people who don't know how to manage finances, people who are never good with finances, you cannot become anything, literally. Daima says to the heaviness, says, give me an example. I'm doing the same. I'm only thinking of industries in which I'm familiar. Which industries are you familiar with? Tom and Jerry says, hi. Hi, Tom and Jerry. Okay, let me know how you're doing. Mercy Everything says, how are you doing today? I'm doing great. How are you? Welcome to the live. How is your last day of the month? And guys, we are talking about hard work doesn't pay. And I think this is a very vital topic right now, because it's also end month for many people. Is when you realize, like, I have worked the whole month and it's not working out. Okay, hard work doesn't guarantee success, because sometimes you will even work hard, you get a job in a good company, but how comes you have been working there for 5 years? You have nothing substantial to show, like, this is what I've accomplished, this is what I've done, this is what... As far as you are concerned, you live hand to mouth. Why does that happen? Like, you're living hand to mouth, like, what happens? So, and you guys, I would like to ask a question. Do you think like you can literally do you think you can literally succeed, or like you can succeed more than your boss when you're being employed? Uh there's a way that I wanted to phrase that question. In terms of like, can you make it when you're employed? Okay, are you more likely to live hand to mouth or something? Mercy everything says, where are you from? I guess Kenya. Yes, I'm from Kenya. Where are you from? Diamond says Tom and Jerry, love the name. Okay, me too, me too. The happiness says Diamond. Okay, I try. Since our host is a woman, I try to make an example for a profession that women typically choose. Let's say a job in administration office job, not physically or mentally hard work. Okay, okay, I am a woman, but I do so many things. So even if you make an example with engineering, I'm gonna get it. uh Vicky, you're getting so good at making sure your comments get through. A very good work of hard work is versus working smart is the enslaved versus the enslaver. You getting the point? Yeah. Okay, the enslaved worked hard, but the enslaver reaped all the benefits. So who was working hard? So I know this is a very sensitive topic to even talk about it. Even when you look at colonizers and colonization, okay, who benefited the most? The colonizers. Were they doing anything? No. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so I have another question for you guys. So are you working hard or are you just staying busy? Are you working hard or staying busy? Are you working hard or staying busy? In your opinion. In your opinion. The happiness says, so connections are building them is connections or building them is going to be like this. If you already have a job, search for a better paid one during this time. Google a lot. Stay interested in other fields too. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, you know what, if I was to be asked, I see Vicky's point. Okay, because we are all talking about hard work, but you don't realize like you can literally work smart and you don't have to keep sweating. But I do believe that is for people who already have somewhere to start. For some of us who start from nothing, at some point you literally have to work hard. Sometimes you have to work dirty jobs, you have to be a cleaner, you have just for you to have a basis, because I do believe salary is important because it gives you capital. And when now you have the capital, you can use the capital to start your own thing, to start your own company, to start your own business. But if you're coming from nothing, you're coming from poverty, you don't have daddy's mommy's money, you literally have to first of all work hard before you work smart. Okay, today I was at this place. We were talking about like when it comes to, like, for example, out here in Kenya, there's jobs like salons. When you work at a salon in Kenya, you get paid by commission. You work for somebody in their salon. When you get a client, you divide by two. Like, you're the one who did their hair, but you divide the amount by two. So, for example, let's say I have done for 1,000 shillings. So we are gonna divide by two. The owner gets 500, and they didn't work. They didn't work. Remember, you did the work. So who is working hard and who is working smart? The one who is working hard is the person who is doing the hair. Who is working smart? The owner, because it's like they made the investment and they just reap the benefits. They reap the benefits. The Hebner says, let's say you work in administration at a construction company. Look for a bigger company. Okay? Okay. I think what you're saying is just politically correct, but is it realistic? Is it realistic to look for a bigger company? How likely are you to get a job in that bigger company? The Hebner says, so are you asking for entry jobs and how to get them? No, I'm not asking for entry jobs. I'm just asking how do you just get there? Because for me, I think it would be better if, like, I was running a business or something, because I feel like you can never make it, you can never build an empire when you're employed, because the person that employs you dictates, or they do dictate how your time goes. They take charge of your time. Like, now you're selling your soul for the salary. That's just what I believe in. So what would be smarter? So you ask if I'm asking for entry jobs or how to get them. So what would be smarter is like if you had the capital to start something of your own, because that's sustainable and like you have control of your time, you have control of your energy, you're not putting your all into somebody's company and you go unappreciated. Okay. And the happiness says pretty realistic. I started at a very small company just to get experience. Okay. So how about what we are told about like volunteering? Okay, is that hard work? For example, if you want to work in a particular company, you volunteer at that company and literally they can see your potential and maybe they can hire you. I think I cannot do that at this point. Okay, I have done that, or like I have volunteered before. Did it work out? No. Can I volunteer again? No. I'm never gonna volunteer. If you guys cannot employ me, no, we are not gonna be doing that. Vicky says also employee versus employer is the same. An employer can offer you a job and stay at home while you the employee gets the job done. Yeah, but who gets the benefit? How much do you get? You get the job done. You are the employee. You get the job done, but the employer gets all the benefits. So you as the employee, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing this thing for through another person? Why can't you do it like for yourself, like so that whatever you're making you can make it 100% for your own benefit? You know what I'm saying? The Hebner says if you want to run a company yourself, you need not only experience in your field but also laws, finance, taxes. Yeah, I think with finances, like you can just start. The problem is like most of us don't have the finances to start. Diamond says my mind has been churning since Vicky Talk 65 comment. Great point. However, if you are looking at executive versus worker, you also have to consider risk. If the business fails, who loses? The owner. And that's the hard part. We all see the point where they are making money, they are making profits, but we don't see behind the scenes. We don't see when they started, when they took a risk and started, like they put their all in that they started being. We don't see what they were going to lose. By the way, actually, yeah, I see that. Like, yeah, if you are just an employee in this company, you're employed by somebody. If the business fails, you lose your job, but like you don't lose all those assets, you don't lose all that capital and stuff. So wow, great point. Okay, have you ever worked hard and still failed? Okay, and you know what, Vicky is literally challenging me because you know what, I don't know if Vicky is a guy or a female. Sorry, I don't know. So, but basically, Vicky is giving us the mindset of like, we are talking about hard work. How about smart work? On with my internet. The Hebina says, true, you only see the successful companies because the ones who failed are out of business. That's true. And they also took a risk. Vicky says to them, it also depends on the business model too. Okay, it also depends on the business model too. Wow, I think there's so much to the conversation. So a friend of mine has started a business, and then they employed somebody to be doing it for them because they also had other things to do. Okay, but that the person that they employed had not seen all the sacrifice, the money that they had put down, the sacrifice to go to the job. There are days where like we were there cleaning, trying to get it. When she started the business, I was there and we were starting. It's like we were starting together. I was helping her set up and stuff. Okay, and then they employed somebody who came and fumbled everything. Because at the end of the day, she was the one who took the sacrifice or the risk. Okay, so when they employed somebody and that person didn't understand the depth of their sacrifice, what they were doing, it literally failed. Okay, it literally failed. So literally, I do agree. Like the risk is the person who did put down the risk. They are the smart workers, but they had to first of all risk. They had to start something that they didn't know if it was gonna work out or not. So There's also that. Guys, welcome to the live. You're talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does, in your opinion? Hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Okay. And also we have a question. Have you ever worked hard and still failed? Have you ever worked hard and still failed? Personally, if you were to ask me, have I ever worked hard and still failed? I would say no. Okay, I think I've just been redirected several times. I have done something, gone ahead with something for years, and then I realized maybe I need to reroute or I need to advance. When it comes to academics, I don't think that I failed because I don't get a job because I have a degree. I don't feel like I have failed because I don't have a job and I have a degree. I feel like maybe I need to advance. Maybe I need to learn some side hustles. Maybe I need to learn how to use the knowledge that I have to start a business or to start something of my own, to start my own company. For example, I think I am a social worker by profession, okay? So what can I do? Community development. What can I do? How can I be able to create a community? How can I be able to to make a difference? Because if you ask me, when it comes to work like community development and social work, you literally have to have passion to do that. At this moment, if you were to tell me, like, why am I looking for a job or why would I be looking for a job? I'm not looking for a job to change people's lives at the moment. I am looking for a job to change my own life, or like, I'm not trying, even on this YouTube, I've said several times, I'm not trying to do this to change people's lives. I'm doing this to change my own life. And if in the process it changes other people's life, then well and good. Okay? So, what was the question? Have you ever worked hard and still failed? So, I think my answer would be no, I have not failed. I have been told to reroute several times. Does it feel accomplishing to have to reroute? No, because when you started something, you are expecting when you get to the end, you just reap the fruits, but that doesn't work out. So, they have assessed Demas, yes, several times. Demas says in the US, Vicky is a girl, usually. However, some guys named Victor might be called Vicky, usually by family. Okay, one of my nieces, a cousin of mine has a son, and his name is Victor, but they call him Vicky. So that's why I get confused, because I also know Vicky who are females. So Vicky, maybe you can help us. We are literally in a time where like there's gender sensitivity, so but I just feel it's so unfair to say they, them, and stuff. The evidence says a good education is a good start, not more. Like a marriage ceremony is only the start of marriage. A good education is a good start, not more. Like a marriage ceremony is only the start of the marriage. But you know what most of us are told, especially in African countries, we are told work hard, go to school, you're going to succeed. Like we are told definitely. It's usually definite. Like at least this person is promising you. Okay, so wow, mindset. Diamond says, as to working hard and still failed, I'd have to say no. However, I've never really been a risk taker like my brother. I'm more of a company man, so my hard work goes to profit others. Okay, you think being employed is better than starting something of your own. Okay, personally, I cannot say what's best for me because I'm still young. I'm just 23 years old. I will figure that out, or I'll know what's best. But at the moment, I'm just doing some hobbies here and there. Vicky says, one boy, please don't take this personally, but you're on a continent that worked harder than any other continent but failed. Let's be okay, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, I would never take that personally. That's true. Literally, we have been the people who have been colonized. We've been the people who have been enslaved. We've been the people who, like, our people were stolen away from us, taken to a different place, literally. And I think this, for black folks, we have been the hard workers. We have been the people who are there working hard. I think for black folks, like, it's not even a laughing matter when it comes to that. We've literally worked hard, literally. Black folks, and it's not to sound racist or anything, but like You know, I realized yesterday I was reading something, and it's an article that was saying the person who invented pads that women wear during their periods is a black woman. Oh, I wish I wrote her name. It's a black woman. Okay, she's black American, but it was a woman. So what they do is like a black person, black people invented most things, but it's like maybe they didn't have the right finances or the right support to make it a big thing. So you come up with the idea. Somebody with the finances takes the idea, build a whole deal out of it, and they succeed. So, okay. Okay, Diamas is laughing right there. I was told the same. Work hard and you'll be fine. But times have changed drastically. That's it. That's it. I know. I know. Me too. I have had to reroute. Everton Watson says Africa love. Yo man, Jamaica. One love. Good to see you, Everton. How are you doing? Welcome to the live. Come to Jamaica. Maybe I will sometime. Maybe I will sometime. Maybe I will. The heaviness says, don't start with slavery, please. That's a topic that can never be discussed in a chat. Okay, but it literally can. It literally can. That's something that happened to us. Like, okay, it didn't happen to me, but it literally happened to people. How are we told to be ashamed of that? Like, how are we told to, you know, okay, I think we are told to shut up about, there's a time, that I was posting videos about colonization. Actually, there's a video that I'm working on about colonization and stuff like that. And somebody came on my chat and they were telling me like, it happened. You guys need to learn how to move forward. How do you move forward from what that happened? Like, it did happen, yes, and that's it. We are supposed to move on and start on a new chapter, yes. But literally, some people benefited from that. Some people build their country. Some people build dynasties out of black people's blood, Africans' blood. Okay, so being told to shut up is like, it's like telling us what happened wasn't brutal. It's like telling us what happened was just a walk in the park, and it was never a walk in the park. Okay. The heaviness says, don't start with, okay. Diamond says the heaviness, slavery should never be ignored, especially since it is still going on today. Wow, I didn't know it's still going on. Okay. But it should never be ignored. I was watching something on TikTok. There's this lady, she usually talk about those stuff, and she's like, how are we being told to move on? How are we being told to move on from stuff that happened to black people? That happened, and it did happen. Okay. Bernard Lucy says, hey my friend. Hello to you, Bernard. Good to see you. Welcome to the live. How are you doing? We are talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? So have you ever worked hard and still failed? Have you ever felt like you failed? Oh, yeah. Let us know. Let us know. Slavery is wrong, of course. Okay. Yeah. What happened to black people is not something to be ignored. And like, I keep saying that we are supposed to talk about it. We are supposed to pass down. I was told about the story about colonization by my grandfather and my grandmother who experienced it firsthand. And you can tell that those people were terrified, but they always told the story of like victory at the end of it all, how they won the fight and stuff. Vicky says, one boy, now I'm very happy that you have aha moment. Your example on the invention showed you understood something. Okay. Yeah, I did understand something. I did. I always think about that because when you think about so many things that have been invented by black people or by black folks, it's only that maybe we don't have the right finances or we don't have the right support to amplify it, put it up there. Okay. Then says, how is it complex? There's a lot of complex topics. Politics is complex. Religion is complex. How is slavery complex? Okay. Okay, I think it's not complex because it is what it happened. Okay, it happened. People were being put in one boat, being stuck there like animals. People were pooping, or they people were like, can you imagine it's literally not even a laughing matter. I don't know what I'm laughing about. Like, can you imagine what those people had to go through? Uh, and then recently I discovered, or like there was a woman who was reading a book, and basically from people who experienced it firsthand. Literally, the women were not tied, all the men were tied up, but the women, they were not tied because the enslavers were using them to pleasure themselves. So you can only imagine, how are we told to shut up about that? It's like being told to shut up about sexual assault. All those things, we cannot shut up about them. Okay, it happened, yes. Are we supposed to move on? Yes. But are we supposed to act like nothing happened? No. The heaviness says diamonds. It is complex because it happened since early mankind. You're talking solely about West African slaves being traded by their own people too. West Africans being traded by their own. Oh, don't you think that those people were terrified? You still know that, like, whether you were sold or whether you remained, all of them were terrified. Those who went, it wasn't good for them, like they went, but also those who remained still went through colonization, and they still went through the same things: brutality, being beaten, working unequal hours. Talk about all those things. Ian says good evening. Good evening to you, Ian. Good to see you. Welcome to the live. How are you doing? Uh-huh. The happiness says never shut up about difficult topics. Never. Okay? Okay. Yeah. And actually I have topics coming up about the same, and like talking about that. Daima says, my first statement was, I'm going on today, and it's not black Americans. I was talking about it's slavery. One set of people forcing another set of people to work for them for free, not complex. And also taking their lives, sleeping with their women, and also the things that happen, like the whole inbreeding stuff, the whole like sleeping with them by force, all that stuff. It wasn't okay. Okay, you don't force somebody to sleep. And what happened was just unexplainable. It wasn't human in nature. Like, were these people animals? Okay. The heaviness says, please understand that I never favored slavery in any kind of form. Slavery was and is always will be bad. Okay. uh, Vicky says, Vicky, but you know what? We did ask if you're male or female, because the word Vicky, like, I know Vicky who are male and I know Vicky who are female, so I kind of need to know. Vicky says slavery is becoming complex as time passed by, and both sides being civilized and understand backwardness plus evilness linked to it. Okay, now that, like, all of us, we are now civilized, like, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, brown, anything that you are. It's literally a complex topic. Like, you literally cannot even because I will never understand how you can move into somebody's house, make her home out of it. I will never understand that. How can you move to somebody's house, uh misplace them from their own house, or tell them to move out of their house, beat them up, make them work for you in their own place, in their own house, in their own farm, and also adding ice on the cake, take some of their people, steal some of their people from them, and take them to a foreign. I will never understand how all of that happens. I will never understand the audacity for these people to do those things to Africans. I literally will never understand, because I don't have that type of audacity to move into somebody's house and do that. Okay, but it is what it is. Okay, but you know what? By saying that, it's not what it is. What happened was brutal. We didn't deserve that, and our forefathers, our ancestors who went through that, they didn't deserve to go through that. Dema says, both sides becoming civilized. Slaves were never uncivilized. Slavers were the only one who were uncivilized. I think there's literally a confusion, because most slaves or people with African origin or people with African descent, most of us, we did have our own languages, okay? And people confuse people. And the other day I did say on this channel, speaking in English doesn't guarantee that you're intelligent. It doesn't. What? Because people confuse speaking in English with intelligence, and I think that's what the enslavers did. Like, their mentality, they were like, these people cannot even speak in English, these people cannot even speak our language, so these people are unintelligent, okay? So it's just like people with African descent, or like the slaves, they had their own cultures, they had their own things that they had going on, they had their own languages. So it's like somebody coming, you don't know them, they don't know you, and they want you to speak their language. It doesn't work like that. That doesn't mean that people with African descent, doesn't mean that they were stupid. It doesn't mean that they were uncivilized. It just means that they were into their own stuff, they were into their own traditions. Yes, they did. That's true. How are people nowadays? Okay. Okay. I know you can never win with Dimas. I know Dimas is Black American. God, the Kikuyu in me. Dimas is Black American, so you can literally never win with that whole topic of slavery. And also, me personally, I am so so much into like studying what Africa was like before colonization, what Africa was like. The heaviness says, so you don't look down on other countries or languages. Me, as Wamboy, or are you asking Diamonds? Personally, if it was me looking down on other countries, no. Like, I come from a third world country. Why would I even look down? Maybe you can ask Dimas. He's American, so you can ask him that question. Because for me, I never do that. Like, we are literally down there, bottom in the ladder. So, who do I have to even look down upon? Okay. So I think from this topic, we all can literally see that success isn't always fair. That's just the truth that people avoid, okay? For example, when you come from Europe or like America or like the US, I didn't know that people had access to like credit cards. We never have access to credit cards here in Kenya. Like somebody can just pay something literally with no money, and they can figure that out later on. I never thought about that. So you can see literally you're not operating on the same ground. Like there is favor when it comes to like being in some place or other places. So success isn't always fair, and that's the truth that people avoid. Let me go back to Diamas. Many people think about Africa and Black Americans when they talk about slavery. Today, there are over 50 million people living in modern day slavery. Okay, yes. You know what? Somebody was talking about, here in Kenya, they still, let me tell you, even as Black people, like as Africans, we do have internalized hate towards ourselves, okay? After colonization, or like after people were able to like get rid of the colonizers and everybody was back to their countries, you know what African countries keep doing? People who had money, they kept still employing people to become their slaves, okay, in their houses. And the same behaviors that the colonizers were doing, the brutality, the working long hours, the beatings, the stuff, they still continue to happen to this date, okay? So I think most of us, we are also living in modern day slavery. We just don't know it, or we have just gotten used to it and we don't know it, okay? So that's just it. We have gotten used to like the modern day slavery. You get employed by somebody, you clean them, all these type of things. But wow, when we think about slavery, we think about Africans and Black Americans, but nobody thinks about like right now, right here, right now. Think about your life. Are you going through modern day slavery? Ezekiel Ndonya says, hey Wamboy, I'm from Kenya but still in Canada. I'm back. How are you? I'm good. Good to see you. Welcome to the live. How are you doing? We are talking about hard work. Hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? So that's the question that we are asking. Maybe you can have something to contribute to that. Like, do you think hard work guarantees success? What makes the difference between people who make it and people who never make it? Okay, does it mean that people who never make it, are they not hard workers? Are they not putting their all into their craft? Are they not being creative? Are they are they dumb? Are they what's going on? What makes the difference between people who make it and who people who never make it? The Hebner says as credit card is the same as your regular account or M-Pesa. Difference is that they charge you a hilarious amount of interest when you lend money or don't pay on time. Debt trap, don't use it. I know how it works. My partner is American, so I literally know how it works. I know how a credit card works, but it's not like M-Pesa, okay? With M-Pesa, it's not debt. It's literally money that you do have. While M-Pesa have something going on that's called Fuliza, most of the time it's usually like 200, 100 shillings. That's not a lot of money to even think about. Okay, the way credit cards work, if you have good credit, you can get a big, huge debt loan. Okay, so it's not like M-Pesa. We have regular bank accounts even here in Kenya, and it's not like that. For example, most of us here we use debit card, not a credit card. Diamond says, like the live, share the love, sub the queen Hujambo from Kenya. So guys, welcome to the live. My name is Wamboy. Good to see you all. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know, do you think hard work pays off? If you've already like made it, especially when it comes to academics, you've made it to the other side, what would you tell people who are still schooling? Would you tell them to keep putting on the hard work? Like, does it pay off? Ezekiel says, I'm doing well, dear. Just chilling at work here. Okay, good for you. Good for you. Ooh. Okay. Wow. The Hebina. If you know about M-Pesa, like, are you from Kenya? The Hebina. Okay. So I think most of us or most people who fail, or like not failing, like if you never get it there, you might be like, maybe I'm not working hard enough. Okay, but maybe the problem isn't that you're not working hard enough. Maybe it's that hard working was not part of the equation. It was never the full equation. There is so many other things that you are expected to do to be able to make it. Okay, so maybe it's not like you're not working hard. Maybe there's other things that you're supposed to consider before you work hard. Smart work is always better than hard work. Yeah, that one is for sure. Smart work is always better than hard. Can you guys give us examples of smart work? Because I think at the entire show, Vicky brought up smart work. So what is smart work to you? The Heaven says, I worked in Kenya and used M-Pesa back in early 2000. Wow. Oh, I thought M-Pesa was pretty recent. God, I literally have to look that up. I thought M-Pesa started like, let's say 2007. Which year did, which, yeah. No, you couldn't have used it in early 2000. M-Pesa started operating in the year 2007. Yeah, M-Pesa started operating in 2007. Because I do remember when it started, it was around that time. It wasn't early 2000, it's 2007. And 2007 is late 2000. Okay. Dema says, I know we are trying to get away from the slavery talk. Okay, we are not. It's just like the topic was hard work doesn't guarantee success. So I literally don't. Okay, but you know what? I have been avoiding doing the whole like black people's topic. I think that's where my passion is at. And I think I should follow my heart. Sometimes I will maybe look for a topic. Not look for a topic. I literally have a lot of things that we can talk about. I just need to choose. Then I know we are trying to get away from the slavery talk, but I need to add this: black cannot blame white people for slavery, and white people need to stop feeling guilty but we should not forget. Okay, why do you think that black cannot blame white for slavery? Why do you think that? Like, literally, that's just what happened. Okay? Like, why do you feel that way? Like, we can blame each other. But the truth is, even if we blame each other right now, the only thing that I can say, we can blame each other. I think we can blame each other. But the problem is, for me, I'm a descendant of people who went through whatever they went through. My grandfather went through that. Okay? So, what I have is just stories and maybe trauma that have been passed down to me. Okay? Through them. So, and somebody who is 20 years old like me, white, okay, I cannot point their fingers and like, you enslaved, you cannot do that. Okay, you cannot point fingers and tell them, you did that to me, because they didn't, they were not around. I have seen most people come around and say like, that was wrong, even from the other side, that was wrong. We can literally point fingers, but I don't know why you say that we can't blame each other. The evidence says, I was at a Safari and some other companies that built it, developer and beta tester. Okay, I was at Safaricom and other companies that built it, developer and beta test. Okay. The Hebner says, Germans and Australians never forget the things that happened in World War II. They still feel guilty because everyone points a finger at them still. Okay? Electronics engineer. Okay? But when it comes to, World War II, it's even in history. Like, we keep reading about that. We keep being reminded about it. We never forget, okay? We never forget about Hitler. We never forget about him, okay? But when it comes to like what happened to black people, when it comes to like what happened to Africans, I was so surprised the other day. I was seeing like there's so many black people in Panama. Colon, Panama is somewhere in like Latin America. Okay, and how they got there? They are literally Jamaicans. Most of them are literally Jamaicans. But I heard that there were some of them who got there through the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, so you can imagine there are people who are there living in very bad conditions. I don't know if they are bad than what they would have been experiencing in Africa, but you'd rather suffer in where you were born or where you're supposed to be in the first place. Diver says, in regards to Africans taken from their homes and brought to America, black people cannot blame white people because there are no white slavers alive today. My white neighbor never owned a slave. Okay. And actually, I think I thought that. Like I said, I am just 23 years old, okay? I never went through. I was never working at a colonizer's farm. My grandfather did. He even cooked. He was telling me stories. I wish I recorded him. He was telling me stories of how he used to cook for a white person. And my grandfather, the way he described it, you could literally laugh. He described it, and he was talking about the trauma to us. Okay, so even if I was to point a finger, there is nobody who exists right now, or maybe there is, but they must have been children. The people who are still there, the enslavers, those who are still there, they are literally old people. Okay, and so most of them, they are just generations. And I see what you're saying. You cannot point a finger and say like, oh, you enslaved me. They didn't. They are literally the product of the enslavers. Okay, when it comes to racism, I was watching a video of what happened in the 50s during the civil rights movement in the US. And I was literally seeing these videos of like what even white children used to do to black children, calling them the N-word, and all those stuff. And I'm like, wow, this is literally unbelievable. And where did these children learn it from? From these parents, these parents who are slave owners, these parents who are colonizers, Vicky says, I think the blacks should not forget. They should use this to prepare a smarter black generation who will learn to work even smarter in order to prevent slavery from happening again. Okay, Vicky. Okay, you know what, Vicky? I think according to you, or like from your perspective is like, uh, Africans, what happened to African countries, or like what happened to African people, is because we were not prepared, we were not ready, okay, and that's what that was, okay, and also we were not smart enough. You know, we always hear stories about the rabbit, how the rabbit is very cunning, very wise. Actually, there was a story where the rabbit defeated the donkey. Not donkey, elephant. The rabbit defeated the elephant in a fight. Can you imagine something as small as a rabbit defeating the elephant? And I know this is just like imaginations. These are just stories, made up stories. But I think that's just what happened. Like the rabbit was the enslavers, the colonizers, and the elephant was the black people. Okay, and also not all that glitters is gold. That's just it. Okay, when somebody comes to you and they want to help you, stop letting them all in. You may have something that's very more worth that you don't realize, because that's another thing with black people. We don't appreciate what we have, or like we don't see, especially here in Africa, because we don't know how to utilize our resources. So when somebody comes in and they're like, we are going to help you process this, we are like, yes, Lord, yes, Father Lord, you know. uh very, very true to all in chat. Never forget but move on. Okay, yes, that's it, that's it. Only African nation that was never colonized is Ethiopia. Okay, but you see, when you look at Ethiopia, they had systems. Okay, Ethiopia, they had their own calendar. They were never swayed. They had empires going on, they had things going on, and that's why it's very difficult to come and distract people who already have something going on. But if you're just seated like that, looking, waiting for something, you know, you are doing nothing with your. And I'm not saying that like other countries have had nothing going on, but Ethiopia had systems, and maybe they had seen ahead. So yeah. And also now back to our topic, okay? Hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Okay? And literally we are winding up. Also Liberia. Wow, I didn't know. I knew Ethiopia was never colonized. I never knew about Liberia. Wow, interesting. Interesting to think about Liberia being colonized. Okay, guys, welcome to the live. My name is Wamboy. Good to see you all. We've been talking about hard work doesn't guarantee success. So what does? Okay. We've had like, I think Vicky did rephrase the topic and like say we shouldn't be looking forward to like working hard. We should be looking forward to working smart. Okay, you see that idea that you have that you think is silly, that doesn't involve getting tired, just do it. Go on with it. Do whatever you can to make it work, because at the end of the day, life doesn't reward. I think life doesn't reward hard work. It kind of like rewards audacity. Like, you know, it's not about the person who mumbles something. Like when a question is asked, and there's a bet, the person who mumbles it and doesn't say it out loud, so the neighbor hears like, oh, you said this, and then they shout it, and like they are gonna receive the reward. So I think life meets you at the level of your audacity. So maybe it's time for us to have the audacity. Okay, maybe it's time for us to keep going. Diamond says, I wanted to seem smart, but in truth, I just Googled it to fact check. Okay. You Googled it to fact check. Okay, like the live, share the love, sub the queen, Hujambo from Kenya. So, according to you, so what is your part short, or like when it comes to this topic of working hard? What would you say is your part short, or something that like have literally caught your attention when it comes to like this topic? Or like what would you say in conclusion, according to you, when it comes to hard work doesn't guarantee success, so what does? I think personally I would say from a point of like personal experiences, or like what I think I've seen, or like what I think I've lived, I would say you have to be willing to reroute every other time, because there will be so many times that like you will feel like you have to reroute, otherwise you're not gonna make it. Okay, so be ready to reroute as many times as possible. Be ready to restart, and like you don't I think when it comes to some of us, especially some of us who grew up with parents, especially African people, we grew up with parents who believe success is about being a doctor, success is about being an engineer, success is about being this traditional work or careers. So if you are choosing a different path, choose it with pride, go for it. It doesn't matter what they say, like you just lock it, do, and also don't go around people who don't believe in what you're doing. So you might be working smart. We've seen people who have changed their lives through entertainment industry. It's not a traditional career, but people have made tremendous growth, or like improved their life tremendously. So I would say, personally, I think my part short is be ready to reroute as many times as possible. It doesn't matter how many times you reroute, as far as you reroute. Also, be willing to change your career as many times as possible. Like, stop, especially for, this is actually for people who have academic papers and you're stuck with them. You're like, oh, now I'm just a graduate now. Like, those papers, they might be the ones that are blocking you from your future. They might be blocking you from what you can become. So put your papers down, get your hands dirty, get your brain working, and just do something. I think that's my parting shot. Vicky says, you have to change that mindset. Which mindset? I mean, you have to change that mindset. I mean, oh, me. Okay. Okay. Who have to, okay, are you saying in general, like, we have to change the mindset? Uh-huh. The Hebena says, the worst thing as I have seen in African countries that educated people leave the country and come back for retirement only. Okay? Yeah. Because as you're not gonna waste your potential in a place where like you're not gonna be appreciated. Even if you get jobs, you're not going to be appreciated. Okay. Yeah. That's it. And that's real talk. That's real talk right there. Because you are not going to waste your potential sitting somewhere hoping that you'll be seen. So hoping that you'll be paid what you deserve. So okay. Diamond says, never give up and weigh your options. I'm not willing to sacrifice my integrity, but maybe we need to be more receptive to competing with others on their terms. Wow. Okay, I'm not willing to sacrifice my integrity, but maybe we need to be more receptive. Okay, me too. I'm not willing to sacrifice my integrity, but maybe sometimes you need to put your integrity at stake. Okay, because it's either you make it and your whole generation have a different story, or you don't. Okay, so I think it's you against the world. So is just choose your battles. Like, oh, choose your battles. What do you want? Like, what do you want to achieve? So with that being said, I don't know, like, I think I would never judge when it comes to integrity, people choosing immorality and stuff. Okay. Vicky says, thinking that diploma and office work are the only way to success is a mindset that the youth on the African continent need to change. And you know what? That's it. Actually, that's what I was saying. When I graduated and like, I was like, I was like, I just need to find an office job because that's just what my parents think, or like that's what they think is best for me. When I explore other things like what I'm doing right now, when I explore the other things that I can do with my own hands, I'm like, am I a failure? Am I doing right? Am I trying? Is this okay? But I just realized, like, that's their story, not mine. uh, I think the reason why African parents or like African youth have that mindset is because, as you were talking about, Vicky, African people did go through a lot in terms of like the hard work. Okay, we've grown up digging the land, we've grown up working under the sun. So when it comes to anything that can change that reality, you're gonna take it. That's why people are so stuck. They want the office jobs because what's more available out here is the hard work. Okay, so you can see that. But I think so, yeah, the mindset literally needs to change. The evidence says no matter where you live, it's always you against the world, and that's the point. Yeah, it's you against the world. It doesn't matter what your parents think. And that's my point. It doesn't matter what your parents think. It doesn't matter what their sisters and brothers think when it comes to your career. Literally, you're the one who is holding this. Whatever decision that you make, whatever path you decide to go with your career, that's literally up to you. It doesn't matter what they think, because at the end of the day, you're the one who is doing the things. Like if you're doing hard work, that's you. Diana says to Vicky, I think that applies to more than just Africa. The same needs to be applied here in the US. So many college graduates are trying to figure out what went wrong. Okay, I think also the system needs to change. The education system needs to change. Stop teaching us to just be doctors and to be engineers. Okay, start telling us at a young age we can pursue whatever we want. We can be creative. We don't have to be the same thing. We can be different. Okay, I think the education system needs to change also. That's also part of the problem. The education system needs to change. Some people needs to pursue their dreams. Like let us choose from a young age what we want to fully pursue. If I want to be a musician, let me know from my young age that's the direction that I'm taking, and let me do that for so many years. If you want to take the beauty path, pursue that for so many years. If you want to, whatever you want to pursue. So the education system literally definitely needs to change. Vicky says, let's talk about smart working sometimes. Shall we? Yeah, actually, you know what? Let me write it down because you seem to have some points. I need, you know what? You know, you guys, you might see here like it's a show, but I am literally learning a lot from you guys, and also having the priority to have people from different places. That literally means a lot. Talk about smart working sometime. Okay, smart working. Let me write it down because I'm a forget. The Hebina says to Vicky, start with salary that is task oriented, not time oriented. What does that mean? What does that mean? Task task. Oh my God, task oriented, not time oriented. And I know in the US, like sometimes you charge your labor per hour, especially when it comes to blue collar, like maybe $16 per hour. So what is that for you? Okay, Diva says smart working. Yes, I would like to have that conversation. Okay, maybe I would like to hear from some of you who seems to have like a better understanding of smart working, because I can tell you for sure that I am not the best person to talk about smart working. I have never been a smart worker. I have always worked hard, and this is where it's got me. So maybe this time round it's time for me to be smart. Okay, maybe it's time for me to be smart because I gotta tell you, if I tried, right now I am doing it the right way. Like I'm following the procedures, I'm following the rules. I am doing what's supposed to be done. I am doing the things that are supposed to be done legally. Okay, and at some point I'm gonna get tired, and you know what? Me personally, I think I have to succeed. I don't know how, I don't know where, but I literally have to succeed. I don't know. Okay, but I just hope we will be able to keep our integrity as we get up there. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna live with yourself. Okay, I'm waiting for the habit. I was asking, start with salary that is task oriented, not time oriented. I asked, what does that mean? I have a 3-year contract to fulfill a specific task to complete. I can choose when and how I work every day, but I need to get it done in time. Oh wow, 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 wow. God, that, you know what? That's why we need to, because most of the time the conversations here sometimes they are usually about love and stuff. But because people don't like talking about money, people don't like talking about finances. People like when it's just the small talk. But you know what? By listening to you guys, I think we will do that topic so that like we will have something maybe to learn from each other. I will have more to learn from you. The Hebner says the task oriented. Okay. Wow, wow, what? But maybe that is only offered in specific countries. I don't think you can get that here. You can have the contract, but the employer dictates the time. They dictate how you work it. The contract just says when you start and when you stop, and it says if you stop before the end, what happens? Okay, what happens in there? But it doesn't determine all the other things that you're talking about. Diamond says to the Hebner, so you would consider that as time oriented, correct? Okay, wow. God, I think I'm not financially literate because I need to shut up when you guys are talking. Okay? Another example, you are a housekeeper. You have tasks to take care of in a day. As soon as you finish the task, you can leave the workplace. Wow. So you can even do that and go to another job. Wow, 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 wow. Interesting. I'm also learning. Like, I thought that I'm intelligent. I thought that I know I'm intelligent. I thought I'm financially literate, but it seems like I'm not. Okay, maybe we need to have a financial. The reason I avoid such topics or such conversations, people are not willing to listen to such things. Like, people want to talk about love. What do you do in relationships? Don't get me wrong. I like talking about that. It helps me grow as a person when we talk about those things because I learn different things from different people. But at the end of the day, these topics, financial topics, that's what we need, literally. Okay? Wow. So, wow. Wow. Benefits hard work because you can do the job in less time and still get paid full. Okay? Wow. Wow. Okay. Oh, it benefits hard workers. Okay. Okay, good. Good, 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 good. Wow. But surprising, surprising. I'm learning. So you guys, I think we are coming to the end of the today's show. It's been such a good time. I think I said yesterday that I'm gonna see if I'm gonna do 48 hours. I don't feel like I'm down for tomorrow, which means if it's not tomorrow, we are gonna be looking at next week. So you guys, I normally go live Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So convert that to your local time. And you know what you could do? Simply subscribe and you're gonna get notified whenever I go live. I also am gonna be doing some videos. Guys, please check out my videos. We're talking about hard work and smart work. Make me a smart worker, okay? Make me a smart worker. KK Emmanuel, KK Emmanuel Gravio says, hi, how are you doing? Good to see you. Okay, very interesting chat. So you guys, I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good night. I'm gonna see you tomorrow at the same time, same place, right here on I am Womboy Live. I'm gonna come back with interesting topics. Also, we are gonna look for some time to do like the financial one, especially the smart worker, because I would like to know more about that. I hope you've benefited or like you've heard something. Vicky says, if you are a person whose parents haven't passed some of their money, okay, let me read. If you are a person whose parents haven't passed some of the money their great grandparent of slavery, then start with salary. Okay, because of course I am not. Okay, start with salary. Okay, and then by starting from there you can get it done. Okay, wow, it's been such a fulfilling topic. God, I have learned so much from you guys. You have so much to offer on the chat. Yeah. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for choosing me. Diamond says, one of the best conversations I've had online in a while. Great chatting. I am on board, the Hebner and Vicky. Thanks all. Okay, thank you all for hanging out with me. I hope you keep watching my videos so that we can keep growing and learning. And also at the same time, keep watching. We need some watch hours in here. Okay, as far as we are growing the population. So keep watching, share my videos with your friends, and until next time, you guys, bye bye. Sorry for the typo. Okay, yeah, no problem. I think I read what you said. If you are a person whose parents haven't passed some of the money their great grandparents passed down from slavery, then start with salary. Okay, I really get what you're saying. 100%. So you guys, good night. Is it good day, Vicky? Good night. I don't know. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon from wherever you've been watching me from. My name is Omboy. Make a point of hanging out with me tomorrow and every other day. You can keep watching my videos if you still need to know me more. Watch my videos. And until tomorrow, guys. Bye bye. Mm.